but dejectedly realizes he can't make out. His pulse starts to race again. Will they test him on his Arabic at the embassy? He got this internship by claiming upper intermediate proficiency in Arabic. Was that a lie? He decides to consider it a question of definition. Travellers push and jostle their way out towards the parking lots and taxi queues, while Jakob stops and looks around. Someone was supposed to meet him here. Someone from the embassy. He was expecting to see a sign for Seger there among the taxi drivers, and he scans them again with the same distressing result. He'd hoped a black Mercedes or a Volvo would be waiting for him, the embassy's second-in-command sitting in the back seat with a briefing on Jakob's first mission. Some negotiation or a meeting with the Lebanese government, or maybe he'd be sent out directly on a fact-finding mission to a refugee camp, or straight to a cocktail party at the French embassy. Childish, of course. He knew it wouldn't be like that right away, not on the first day, but he'd expected something, some indication. A task, the opportunity to show them he was a man with a future ahead of him, someone to remember, somebody to bet on. But no one is here. Nobody has his name on a sign. No stressed-out European is scanning the arrival hall. Jakob takes out his phone. He made sure his cell phone would work here, just one small detail in his preparation. It's expensive to call, he knows that, and if there's one thing he doesn't have, it's money. But he fishes his phone out of his pocket and looks up the number he received a few weeks ago for an Agneta Adelheim. It's important to show you're quick-witted, resourceful. Never end up the victim of circumstances. You have to take control of the situation and handle it. It makes him happy to see the Adelheim name again, not just some boring old Anderson. He even looked it up, and it is indeed aristocratic. That feels good. That's where he's headed. A world of diplomats with aristocratic last names. A small rush of satisfaction tingles up his spine as he pushes on her name in his contacts list, and the phone starts to ring. But Agneta doesn't answer, and his call isn't forwarded to an answering machine. After 15 rings, he stops trying, closes his eyes, and leans back on the bench. The concrete is cool against the short blonde hair of his neck. He's sitting in the airport in Beirut, his first time in the Middle East, his first time outside of Europe. For a moment, it feels like he's drowning. He gasps for breath, opens his eyes wide. "No, no, no," he says out loud to himself. He calms himself down. Time to be resourceful. He calls Agneta Adelheim again. When she answers on the second ring, relief washes over him. "Oh no," she says when Jakob introduces himself. "I'm so sorry. I was sure it was next week you were coming. I'll be there in half an hour." Jakob hangs up and stands, shaking off his disappointment. They forgot about him. It's a setback, but things like that happen. They have a lot on their plate. Of course, things fall through the cracks. You can't keep track of every little detail. It doesn't mean he won't be able to amaze them. He pulls a copy of Dagens Nyheter out of his newly purchased brown leather briefcase. He's been carrying the newspaper since boarding the flight in Stockholm, but only now does he open it. Might as well get up to speed on the latest news, he thinks, skimming the front page. He's mainly looking for anything related to Beirut. He read online about the demonstrations taking place at the government headquarters, about garbage not being picked up, filling the streets with stench and disease because the government is so corrupt and dysfunctional. But none of that is in this newspaper. Instead, there is some Säpo scandal breaking in Sweden. He remembers hearing about it on the news yesterday, but he was too preoccupied to make much sense of it. Now he has time, a half hour at least, and as he unfolds the newspaper, he sees a photo of a red-haired woman in her 30s, dressed professionally, taking up half the front page. Green eyes and a resolute expression, she's standing at some kind of press conference. The headline reads, "Russia behind riots in the suburbs." Jakob devout.